And welcome to Thursday, the fifth day of March, 2020. And I'm meteorologist Joe Rayo. And it turned out to be another fairly decent day out there across our area. Less wind than yesterday, as we promised, not as harsh. And didn't have a pristine sky. In other words, we didn't have a deep blue, brilliantly sunny day, but we sunshine veiled through high clouds that especially are coming in now and will be with us during the overnight hours tonight. As you can see on the latest satellite loop here from GOES 16, we are looking at high clouds veiling much of our area now, and there'll be a thicker band of clouds, a thicker mass of clouds that'll be invading our area during the next 12 hours or so as we prepare for this weather disturbance, which I guess you could say we're going to dodge a weather bullet here because it looks like it's going to become a fairly potent weather disturbance, but one that we're only going to see the peripheral effects from in terms of cloud cover and also in terms of precipitation. Before we get into that in detail, just want to let you know that you're watching Joe Rayo Weather on YouTube, the Joe Rayo Weather channel. And if you have not already subscribed, please do so. We're going to be here usually in the afternoon hours around 5 o'clock during the weekdays and perhaps on weekends when we have something to talk about, major to talk about, which we haven't had much of this particular winter season. We have had, as many of you snow lovers know, not much of a season in terms of weather because, well, there just hasn't been any kind of activity that has provided us with any kind of snow or significant precipitation in our area. I'm resetting the camera now so that we can take a look at the North American or NAM model. This is the 12 kilometer NAM surface. And all of our maps that we show you here, or most of our maps, are courtesy of the wonderful website tropicaltidbits.com, put together by Levi Cohen. And if you have never seen that, head over to it and you can take a look at it yourself. But as you can see right now, this is set up for let me go back actually. This is, there we go. It's so wonderful. I got to tell you something. I got started in this business a good long time ago. And when I got started, all we had were these facsimile maps that were printed on chemical paper. And you really weren't supposed to handle that paper too often or too long. And what we would have to do is we would have to color in the areas that were on those maps. Today, of course, you just saw, I could just roll through 2 or 3 days with a push of a button and watch all the weather systems as they move past us or beyond us. Uh, and it's so much different. And again, the website Tropical Tidbits really is a great weather site to look at. All right, this is the 12 kilometer NAM for this is the 12Z, if you will, the computer run based upon data from 12Z this morning. Actually, no, this is the 18Z run. I'd like to look at the 12Z. I'm really not a fan of the so-called intermediate runs. Those runs are not quite as accurate as the primary, the 0Z and 12Z runs. But in any case, this is the projection. This is forecast hour number 7. We'll back things up here. This is for 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're talking to you at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, the 5th of March. And just a reminder that we only have a couple of more days left. And then this weekend, we're going to go back on daylight saving time. I don't like that daylight saving time. No weather forecaster or synoptic meteorologist likes daylight saving time because it means for all of us that we're going to have to wait an extra hour for the data to come in. The maps are based on Greenwich times, which is at standard time at the moment, 5 hours ahead of standard time, Eastern Standard Time. When we go on to daylight saving time, the difference will be 4 hours, but still we will have to wait an extra hour. So a map that, let's say, would normally be available at, let's say, noontime, starting on Sunday, it will be available at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Very, very, what can I say? Not so great if there's a major disturbance or major storm coming and you're hanging on every single update model update, and you now have to wait an extra hour for that new run to arrive. I just don't like it. I wish we didn't go back on daylight saving time. If we stay on standard time all year long, but I'm not the one who makes those decisions, unfortunately. All right. So this is 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. We're basically going to have, again, high clouds veiling the sun, and then the high clouds will persist in our area through the overnight hours tonight. Notice, if you will, down near the bottom of the screen here, down by the lower part of the map, we have green increasing. This is precipitation with the coastal system. And we have two systems, actually. We have a coastal system and we have an upper level system. The upper level system is the one that's going to provide the energy, the atmospheric energy. You see the blue here. Those are snow showers in advance of the system as it moves on through western and central New York State tomorrow. There's a band of snow here, according to the NAM model. And then down here is the surface system. Now, these two systems, the package of energy here and the coastal system, are going to coalesce. They're going to get together, a teleconnection, if you will, but not until the system is pretty well out to sea away from our area. Now, tomorrow, we're looking for the possibility sometime during the afternoon, say maybe after 2 or 3 o'clock, of a little bit of shower activity, rain activity entering the picture. It's not going to be all that much. Again, the main thrust of precipitation is going to be pretty well out to sea. There's, again, a band here, a blue band of snow. Now, it's possible that tomorrow evening, as the column, as the atmospheric zone, the air aloft and above, down to the surface level, cools off, that we might see a few snowflakes mixing in, or maybe even a little bit of wet snow, but it is not going to be all that much. Notice, if you will, now, on this particular model run, notice, if you will, this is for 6 p.m. tomorrow, and this is for 7 p.m. tomorrow. Here's the system. Here's the coastal system down here to the south and east of New York. But as we move along, now all of that moisture begins to get transferred to the coastal system. The coastal system winds up, takes away whatever moisture that's over us, and we're drying out. And it doesn't look like, again, later tomorrow evening, a little bit of precipitation, a bit of rain, maybe a few flakes of wet snow, but really the bulk of this storm, the main effects, are going to be pretty well out to sea to our south and east. If I can move the map or move the camera here, you can see a little bit better. There's the storm as of 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. This system, there you go, right there, way out. I would have to say that's about at least 400 miles to the east-southeast of New York City. 977 low, really winding up. But again, all of this happening, this is going to be a fish storm. For all of us, the main effects of this coastal system is to drive a rather gusty northerly or northeasterly wind into our area during the day, actually during the nighttime hours on Friday night, into at least a good part of the day, the first part of the day on Saturday. The winds will be coming out of that northeast direction, and as a result, we're going to be feeling it in terms of, well, I'm sure in terms of a noticeable wind chill, and also in terms of the fact that northeasterly wind will be a drier wind, and that will help to clear our skies. Probably toward daybreak, a few lingering patchy areas of cloud, but that'll be going away, and by the time we get to mid and late morning on Saturday, skies will be beautifully clear. High pressure building in a 1036 high pressure zone right here, and that is going to be providing us with a bright and sunny day on Saturday. I'm calling for temperatures, excuse me, low temperatures tomorrow night, 27 to 38, 27 in the valleys, 30 for urban and coastal locations. And then as we move into the day tomorrow, 42 to 46, again, clouds thickening. We'll have a touch of precipitation late tomorrow and into tomorrow evening, a little rain late, maybe a little snow mixing in, no big deal. Saturday, again, becoming bright and sunny. Temperatures on Saturday will be in the 40s to around 50. With the winds, however, especially early in the day, it will feel quite a bit chillier, more like the 30s. But the winds will begin to diminish or abate some as we move into the day on Saturday afternoon. And then as we move into Saturday evening, that high pressure center building in, the winds will continue to diminish into Saturday night, and Sunday looks like a gorgeous day. Lots and lots of sunshine. Temperatures on Sunday looks like they will make it to, well, I would say at least 53 to maybe 58. Some spots may even get close to 60 come Sunday afternoon. Much less wind on Sunday as opposed to Saturday. And again, bright and sunny all throughout the course of the day on Sunday. So a great looking day coming up on Sunday. And I mentioned yesterday that the folks in Mahopac are going to have their annual St. Patrick's Day parade on Sunday through town. And so if you're going to be marching in that or watching that parade, no problems, really. It's going to be a great day for a parade with sunshine. And again, temperatures well into the 50s to around 60. Then we get into Monday, still not a bad day. We're looking for lots of sunshine and temperatures on Monday, probably rebounding back up, maybe close to or above 60. Could be maybe a day on Monday where we could be talking about temperatures of 60 to 65. A wonderful day, a spring-like day when we get on into Monday of next week. Let's see what we have as far as I'm going to show you the GFS here. And this GFS now is maybe a little bit different than the NAM, but still pretty much it shows you the storm reaching rather potent strength out over the ocean. If we can move things along here, there you see out over the Atlantic. This is now, let's see, this is for 6Z on Saturday. This is 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And look at that potent storm. It's a 987 low, I believe. Look how tightly wound up that system is. And again, we're in that northeasterly flow. Now, if you believe the GFS, we're still going to be in line for precipitation through the first half of Friday night, maybe up until and even shortly beyond midnight. You can see the blue here, suggestive tomorrow night of a little bit of wet snow. But again, it does not look like we're going to see very much. If we do get any kind of accumulation, it would probably be on colder surfaces. But, really don't, just kind of like as I tell the snow lovers, this is going to be a cheap thrill, so to speak. And then as we look ahead to Saturday, you can see that the GFS shows that rather gusty pressure gradient. But look at how strong that system is. And that's down to a 966 out over the ocean. Gusty northeasterly to northerly winds blowing on Saturday. So there's going to be, especially early in the day, quite a bit of a wind chill effect. The winds will still be rather busy into Saturday afternoon, gradually diminishing and abating as we move into Saturday evening and Saturday night. High pressure building in. Great looking day for Sunday. Winds not as strong, thankfully, as what we're going to see on Saturday. And then on Monday, again, high pressure now offshore. We get into a westerly or even a west-southwesterly flow, 60 to 65. How does that sound for you on Monday? That looks pretty darn nice, doesn't it? Then as we get into Tuesday, it looks like we'll be looking at some wet weather, another weather disturbance moving through a front. That'll be providing us with wetness here, especially during the day, during the afternoon hours on Tuesday. Tuesday, we're looking for temperatures still on the mild side. The front really doesn't get through here until the end of the day Tuesday. So in spite of the fact that we'll have clouds, and in spite of the fact that we'll probably have showery weather on Tuesday, temperatures on Tuesday will still make a run at 60 degrees. And Tuesday may actually start off with a little bit of sunshine. Now, you remember yesterday we were talking about the model showing a potential, the GFS went to town with this on Thursday of next week, a potential big snowstorm. Wednesday we clear out and dry out. It'll turn cooler with temperatures back in the low to mid 50s. So a pretty good day for Wednesday of next week. And then we come to Thursday. And interestingly now, we have on Thursday, the GFS actually toward daybreak on Thursday morning calling for some wet weather, in the form of some rain and or snow. But you remember yesterday it had that potent system along the mid-Atlantic coast. Here it is on the map for 7 a.m. on Thursday, I should say. We move it up a little bit. That storm that was so intense on the maps yesterday now is just a relatively flat system, and it is moving quickly on out and away from the mid-Atlantic coast by Thursday morning. Supposedly, it will be brushing us with snow and or rain. But again, this is so different than what we had yesterday. Yesterday, if you remember, the GFS was saying that from Thursday into Friday, we were going to see a storm of tremendous magnitude, a storm that was going to drop believe it or not, on the order of something like 1 to 2 feet of snow on us. That does not look like the story now. Instead, this particular storm is actually one of two systems, because this system moves on out. Then a second, somewhat more intense system builds into our area as we move into late Thursday night and into Friday. And on Friday morning, supposedly again another round of rain or wet snow. I suspect what the GFS was showing yesterday was a combination of two storms, two developing systems coalescing into one gigantic, massive, intense storm system over us for Thursday night to Friday. Now it looks like the GFS has broken these two models apart, scooting one through here early Thursday and a second storm through here early on Friday. And that system on Friday, look at this. How do you go from, in one single day, from 24 hours ago, projecting a 22-inch snowfall, now for the new GFS run, this is now projecting rain, nothing but for the most part, for next Friday. And then as that moves out, skies clear, and it looks like it'll be nice for the start of not this weekend, but next weekend, if you want to look that far ahead, for Saturday. But again, once you go past 5 and 6 days with these models, they tend to change their mind quite frequently. And this is a classic example of that. Whether or not they go back to the projection of maybe a major storm for late next week is yet to be seen. We shall see on that. Let's see here. This is the 12Z run on the GFS, the upper level, the 500 millibar map. And let's show you here. This is for this morning, 12Z. And notice, if you will, we have this two systems. We have, here's the upper level system. This is the system that is going to supply the atmospheric energy. And here's that southern system. This is the system that's going to trigger that coastal storm. The question is, how quickly are the two going to teleconnect or merge with each other? We move things along here. You see this upper level system, the energy system, digging right on down into the Great Lakes. This is as of this evening, 7 p.m., continuing to dig and dig. This is now for 7 a.m. on Friday morning. The coastal system probably is somewhere out over here. Here's the upper level system, and it looks like they finally do start getting together. Here's the upper level system now of the coastal storm. But again, it is just about moved a little bit too far to the east, according to the GFS, to really have a major say in our weather. Again, this is just a little bit too late. And bang, immediately this system by late tomorrow night, say about midnight or 1 a.m. Saturday morning, becoming a full-scale cutoff low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like we got a 5 contour cutoff, again, about 400 miles or so, maybe not that far, more like maybe 300 miles east-southeast of New York City late tomorrow night. But again, just a little bit too late to really impact us in terms of precipitation, probably more in terms of wind. Look at that stream of northerly winds behind this upper level system in the upper part of the atmosphere, and that's going to line up with those northerly and northeasterly winds on Saturday morning to produce some rather gusty winds here, and probably a significant wind chill effect for a while early in the day on Saturday before things begin to let up. The upper level system pulls away on Saturday from our area, and now take a look what's coming our way for Sunday and Monday. The areas of orange indicating a rise in the heights, the upper atmospheric height scales, 500 millibar heights, and all of this indicating a huge ridge of high pressure building toward us for the second half of the weekend, setting the stage for some really lovely spring weather for Sunday on into Monday. There you go. For Sunday, the center of that high pressure ridge pretty well over eastern Great Lakes and on into the northeastern United States. And then it will continue to build overhead into Monday as well. And that is going to set the stage again for a couple of really great days. Again, Sunday, lots of sunshine. Temperatures, I would say, between 53 and 58, much less in the way of wind compared to Saturday. Not as harsh on Sunday as compared to Saturday. And then on Monday, 60 to 65. Some of you are already thinking about maybe playing hooky on Monday. What a great day. Sunny to partly cloudy, and temperatures reaching into the low and mid 60s. Normal high at this time of the year should be around 47, or let's say for the lower Hudson Valley, between 45 and 50. And here we are on Monday, talking about low to mid 60s. So it looks like a really great day. Then as we move into the early part of next week, according to the GFS, the upper level systems are going to kind of flatten out a bit for Tuesday into Wednesday. Don't forget that front on Tuesday providing us with some wet weather in the form of showers. This system for Thursday, again, looks like it appears to be some kind of a double system with one surface system moving on through late Wednesday night, early Thursday with some rain and showers. There you see the reflection of that in the upper levels of the atmosphere for late Wednesday night into early Thursday, kind of a trough of low pressure moving through the northeast. And then as we get into Friday, we are looking at, let's see, well, really not all that much. Another system, another kind of a flat upper level trough moving on through during later on Friday and into Friday night. Then that quickly moves away and a new ridge of high pressure builds in for Saturday, the 14th of March. Again, remember back to yesterday, the just 24 hours ago, this same model, the GFS, if you remember yesterday, had a 5 or 6 contour cutoff low right about here with a storm system, a surface storm system of significant magnitude, dumping moderate to heavy snow across much of the Northeast. And here we are now, 24 hours later. What happened? Where is it? I said this to you yesterday. When you start looking as far out as 7 and 8 days, these models, although they're significantly improved, these are supercomputers that we're looking at with a number of different ensemble models coalescing together and trying to give you the best idea or best view of what may be happening in the days to come. Again, despite all of that, once you get past 5 or 6 or 7 days, you know, the shuffling, the changing of different weather systems and weather patterns is such that, you know, it's hard. It's hard to put any reliability, I think, on anything beyond 5 or 6 days. So well, let's see what happens tomorrow. Maybe the GFS will go back to a major system for the end of next week in tomorrow's run. But right now, it looks like what they were saying for yesterday is not going to happen for the latter part of next week. Just to give you an idea here, this is the European upper level 500 millibar field, and if we show you what the European is showing, and again, the European is not like the GFS; it goes at 24-hour increments. So we got this diving shortwave moving into the Northeast Friday morning, and by the time we get to Saturday morning, again, it cuts off, closes off. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4 contour cutoff low. Again, about 300 or 400 miles east-southeast of New York. A little bit too late for all of you who are hoping for a major system bringing maybe perhaps some rain or significant snows. So again, this is a system that goes out to sea. Then we move into the upcoming weekend, and high pressure builds in. And look at that. It provides us with great weather for not only Sunday, but again on Monday as well. Want to go further ahead? Let's take a look at that system for late next week. Well, on Thursday, they have kind of a, I don't know what you would call this, kind of a little minor ripple in the upper level 500 millibar stream for Thursday, passing off the coast near the eastern New England area. And then on Friday, nothing. I mean, it doesn't show any. It actually shows some ridging here in the east. Here comes another upper level system on Friday across the Great Lakes. Let's see what it does for that on Saturday. That system kind of surges eastward and moves through Friday night and Saturday morning, maybe with some kind of a front, and then a buildup of upper level ridging for not this weekend again, but next weekend. And there you go. That system again that was being suggested here for late next week, not being shown really to any great degree on either the GFS or the European progs. Let's take a look at the. I want to show you the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, their model or probability of temperatures as we move into the next 8 to 14 days. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature probability map. And what can I tell you, except it shows that for much of the eastern half of the country, all the way out to the Midwest and into the Plain States, above normal temperatures for 8 to 14 days ahead. And that would also hold true for the 6 to 10 day outlook. I mean, we're looking at unseasonable warmth. So if you're hoping for any kind of a, major storm that might bring, a significant snowfall here, maybe in time for St. Patrick's Day, that does not look like to be the case, at least according to the folks who specialize in long range forecasting at the Climate Prediction Center. Now, don't worry, I just closed the my lens here for a second. I'm going to turn things around, and we're going to come up on me now. I have not been able to see any of your comments here on the chat board. That's just not possible in the way I have things set up here. But I'm about to show myself, and I can see the chat board now. I'm going to bring my lens cap up. Let's see. Come on. Whoop. There we go. Surprise! Here I am. All right. Let's take a look at the chat and see what we have here from all of our folks. Leading off the chat is Dennis Cassia. Dennis, I'm wondering if I'm thinking that maybe tomorrow you might do something interesting. I'm thinking that maybe if you're interested in doing this, Saturday is a very special day for Dennis and myself. We are big fans of amateur astronomy. And Saturday is a very special, auspicious anniversary. Saturday is the day, the 50th anniversary. And by the way, it was a Saturday 50 years ago. We had a view of an eclipse of the sun. I don't know how many of you remember this. This went right up along the eastern seaboard, the path of totality. I know, Dennis, I think you were down in the path of totality in North Carolina or maybe Virginia. I'm not sure. I unfortunately could not make it. I was not able to travel into the totality path, but I saw a 96% partial solar eclipse from right here in the New York metropolitan area. And a lot of people who got into astronomy got hooked on the phenomenon of a total solar eclipse. In fact, behind me, maybe some of you can see this poster I have up on my wall of the solar corona of solar eclipses. If you have never seen a total eclipse of the sun, and a lot of people got hooked on eclipses and became eclipse chasers 50 years ago this Saturday. And if you've never seen one, I don't know if you had a chance to see the one in 2017, but there's another one coming our way. It'll be a little bit more than 4 years from now on Monday, April the 8th, 2024, one that's going to take a path again up through the eastern part of the United States. And if you've never seen one, my strongest advice to you is to go and see one. It is one of the greatest things that you will ever see in your lifetime. And the thing I was talking about with Dennis, I was thinking maybe, Dennis, I might put, if you're interested, maybe I could call you before we do the discussion tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and I could put you on speaker, and maybe on the speakerphone you could actually we could talk back and forth about what we experienced back all those many years ago, 50 years ago. It's interesting. My grandfather told me about the solar eclipse, the total eclipse that took place in 1925 when he was only about 16 years old. And I always wanted to see a total eclipse. He took me to my first one up in the Gaspé region of Canada in 1972. And so he was like from my perspective, talking about the 1925 eclipse, he was like an old timer, so to speak. He had seen that great eclipse from all those years ago. And now look at what we have here. Dennis and myself and all those who got hooked on eclipses in 1970, now we're the old timers, because that's like 50 years ago. And now we're telling all the young people, all the people who have never seen one before, go and see one. Again, the next best chance will be in 2024 in the eastern part of the United States. Cliff Newton, how are you? Daniel Fitzsimmons, I heard the storm track is tending west. Well, Daniel, I don't know. If you're hoping for anything significant, it doesn't look like anything is going to be happening of significance, I think, later tomorrow evening. Lewis Heck says, any plans to stream the maps would be far more. Well, this is what we're doing, Lewis. Aren't we doing this? Did we not show you maps? Maybe he's a late comer. Yeah, I guess he didn't see. Daniel Fitzsimmons again. Jeffrey Mara. Let's see. Danny Nunkamar Daniel Fitzsimmons. And again, I apologize if parts of the maps didn't show up. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to place the placement of the camera, but I think for the most part, most of you got the chance to see a good view of all the maps that I was describing. Let's see, who else do we have here? Stian Turstad. That's a new one. I don't remember seeing that name. How are you? Welcome to Joe Rayo Weather on YouTube. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe, please. It's for free. If you are already a subscriber, spread the word. Leroy McKeever. Hi, everybody. How are you, Leroy? Or is it Leroy? I guess there are two ways you can pronounce that. Most people, I think, say Leroy. David McLean. Do you see any 70 degrees for Youngstown, Ohio, anytime soon? I got to tell you what, David, I wouldn't rule out 70 for you on Monday. Monday looks like a real spring-like day across not only our part of the country, but back west into the Ohio Valley and parts of the Midwest as well. So it looks like a balmy day coming up for the start of next week. Steve LaPont, Boston Mets are saying coastal Mass may see 2 to 4. 2 to 4 what? 2 to 4 feet? Or 2 to 4 inches? Again, a little bit of wet snow later tomorrow night, maybe. And the big storm for next week looks like is off the table. But again, why should I even say that? Because that's still like 5-6 days ahead. We may very well see the GFS and some of the other models go back to the thoughts and summations and summaries of what they were saying for yesterday of a major storm. Again, we will see as we progress into Friday and on into the weekend. Let's see. So Dennis, Steve LaPont says, so Dennis, that was the day you and Joe Rayo seen the aliens. 50 years. Yeah. Well, we didn't see any aliens, but I got to tell you, it was a memorable sight, even in New York with 96% of the sun covered. A weird counterfeit twilight fell over the tri-state area at about 1:42 that Saturday afternoon. And then it started brightening up again. But to see a total eclipse, to get rid of that final 4%, is just absolutely stunning. The skies get very dark, about as dark as they do about 30 or 40 minutes after sundown. Dark, not like a moonlit night, but dark enough so that you can see some of the brighter planets and stars. The spectacular corona of the sun comes into view with binoculars. The only time you can look at the sun during an eclipse is during the total phase. With binoculars, you can actually see the tongues of flame, the so-called prominences, the shots of hydrogen gas leaping off of the sun's photosphere, the sun's surface. It is just an absolutely breathtaking event. The corona can be seen, semi-darkness settles, the quality of light changes, and then after a few minutes, I think that eclipse in 1970 lasted somewhere, depending upon where you were along the totality path, between 2 and 3 minutes. In Mexico, I think it lasted like 3.5. It was just an amazing sight, and you have to see it. Now, we didn't see any aliens, but we did see something that almost plunged us into an alien-type scenario. It's nothing like a sunrise or sunset. It is nothing like you've ever seen. You have to experience it. I hope all of you do get that chance in a little over 4 years. Make a date on your calendar, April the 8th, 2024, for the next big eclipse here in the eastern United States. Silver maples bloomed the other day up here in the Albany area, says Timothy Veltman, and the daffodils are about 3 inches already. So this mild weather really advancing spring very rapidly. Steve LaPont says the trend is no longer there. And Stefan Terstad said, I'm the guy who always changes the subject to European weather on Joe and Joe. Well, I don't think we're going to do a Joe and Joe tonight. I think Joe's having such a great time, I'm sure, down in Georgia with his seeing his daughter and son-in-law and his grandchild. We will be back, I think, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So we will be getting together on Joe's YouTube channel tomorrow night at 7, unless something else crops up. And if that be the case, I'll let you know. But right now, tentatively, we're going to do a Joe and Joe tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So there you go. Steve LaPont says, I was only 7. Who could remember back then? Well, Steve, I'll tell you what. I remember when I was 7 years old, there was a solar eclipse that I watched, a partial eclipse of the sun in 1963 that was totaled up in Maine. And that kind of got me started in astronomy. And I was really into it by 1970 and 1972. As I said, my grandfather and I, and also my sister, my mom, my grandmother, we just took a trek up into the Gaspé Peninsula of Canada. We went to a town called Cap Chat in Canada and saw a total eclipse of the sun up there. That was in July of 1972. Great thing, great sight, lots of great memories. I'm sure a lot of those people who have who are into astronomy and into eclipses will remember and have a lot of fond memories of that day 50 years ago. I can't believe how many years have gone by in 1970. All right. Anyway, we're going to end this right now. I hope all of you had some interest. We'll see if things change tomorrow in terms of a little bit of rain or wet snow that we may see here later tomorrow and tomorrow night. And again, great second half of the weekend, Sunday and Monday, mild, dry, sunny, a little brisk, a little chilly on Saturday, but also some sunshine. And we'll see what happens for later next week, what the computer models will be saying as to whether or not we get another shot at any precipitation, be it snow or rain, by Thursday or Friday. Whether the models change their minds again, and they often do, we shall see what we shall see. So until then, meteorologist Joe Rayo, thank you very much for tuning in. Again, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to Joe Rayo Weather on YouTube, and we'll be back with you tomorrow, probably again at around 5 o'clock in the p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our last transmission on Standard Time before we do that atrocious push of the clocks forward to daylight time on Saturday night. All right, everybody, you have a good day, and we'll see you all on Friday. Have a good one, everybody.